Hello, ladies and gentlemen, CaptainShack here, and welcome to Planet Nomads, a Kickstarter project that has already been funded. As of releasing this video, it should have about 3 days left in it, but it has been funded. They're working toward a couple of stretch goals we'll talk about in a little bit, but this title is in the vein of Space Engineers as a genre, so I guess you'd call it like a block-building creative sandbox survival game with a physics engine attached to it. It looks pretty sweet, though. Like, we've had a couple games. We have Space Engineers, we have Imperium, Galactic Survival, and that kind of is about it in this genre of being able to build your own gear and equipment and try to survive on a planet. Now, this one, though, it seems like it has a real laser focus, and I'm actually really excited about it. It reminds me a lot of that first time I logged into Space Engineers and I had that, wow, this could be really, really cool. All right, let's load into one of these pre-builds, one that I haven't seen. I just took a look at the outpost, which is kind of cool. We'll look at it in a second, but let's go into the tank. And I've built a few things. Oh, there she is. Look at that. Holy crap. Holy crap, this is the biggest build I've seen so far, other than a base. So, in Planet Nomads, your goal is to survive on a planet. You crash land on a planet. There's actually a little bit of a story there. You crash and you've got to survive in the planet. Nature itself is out to kick the ever-living hell out of you. It's out there to kill you. Between the weather changing to, making you freeze, or it's too hot, or radiation, or creatures and monsters, you've got to survive through the different biomes and collect resources to build a spaceship to escape off into the solar system. Now, every time I try to go down, I try to hit C, which is down for Space Engineers, and it's actually Shift. So you may see this screen, which is your color palette picker, a few times. Oh man, this vehicle is kick-ass looking. This thing is huge, by the way. Let me put down let's see here. You can actually download this builder right now off of the Kickstarter page for free if you want to just jump in and mess with it. But to give you an idea, like there's a traditional cockpit, and then there's the tank. So you can see the seat in there to give you an idea of like how big a person is versus this tank. It's huge. It is monstrous. And you'll notice that this big vehicle is made out of small blocks, and I have not seen any large blocks yet. So I think everything is built under one scale, which is the small block scale. And it looks like they've changed how the power grid is going to work in this. I don't know if this is just decorative or not, but there is power boxes and cables running through stuff. And you'll also notice, actually, I know a lot of Space Engineer guys just noticed this, tracked vehicles. There are tracks already in the game that will work. And anybody who's tried to do tracked vehicle in Space Engineers knows my pain. It's just not meant for it. And like a lot of things, when you get a little complicated in Space Engineers, it'll more than likely just explode. It won't be stable, and it won't really be usable in any kind of fun way. It's just, hey, I want to see if I can do this. Oh, I did it, but it's really wonky. In this, though, tracked vehicles are already a thing, and that has me excited because they're thinking about that already. Let's see here. I don't see any of the solar panels. They're actually solar panel blocks. There are small block windows already in the game, which we can go through. And this tank has an interior. It has a whole top turret. I don't know if the turret rotates, though. I don't think it does. There's some of what I believe is the piping in the game. Oh, here we go. These are battery cells, I believe, all racked up together. Now, since we can't play just yet in the control panels, and yeah, we'll go back out through the hull. Since we can't play yet, I can't see, like, how does it all work? Oh, he's got, okay, he's got a suspension system set up to these wheels. See, I built a tracked vehicle, and I'll show you my really shitty tracked vehicle right now, but it just didn't come out well. Let's see here. So we go Control-O to load, and oh, I've got to log in. Damn, okay. My internet is being really crappy today. If you guys don't know my internet woes, you can check out the Time Warner Sucks video. But the community is coming together to try to like actually hook me up with fiber at the new house that me and Tabby are buying as kind of a move-in present, which is really cool. So hopefully that'll be fixed soon. But Planet Nomads has a lot of cool things going for it. Now, their Kickstarter kind of gives you an idea of what they're looking at. They've already hit a Kickstarter where you're going to be able to go out into orbit of a planet. You can see some planets out there in the distance. And the engine itself already allows, they call it the Sandy engine, I believe, allows for you to go, like, render these huge planets and just keep going in one direction, and going and going and going, and it'll continue, like kind of like Minecraft, where it'll constantly render new areas, new biomes, but every new area you go to, it could change what the threat may be. So you go into a valley and it starts getting really hot, and maybe there's some environmental challenges like radiation, or there's a new creature or a nest down there of something. Or maybe you go up into the mountains and it gets really cold and you have to deal with the cold. The environment and surviving are actually going to be a thing in this. Unlike Space Engineers. I mean, they never went out to say, hey, we want to be the next survival game. They've been kind of just tacking on some of those survival aspects while still trying to get their creative engine straight. Oops. All right, let's load up one of the other builds, and I'll continue to talk about some of the features. Now, as for Kickstarter goals, they did get the orbital flight one. They got functional blocks, so we're going to get to see things like, let's load template. Let's load the mine machine. Yeah, let's load the mine machine. Let's see what that is. They're going to have, so functional blocks is the 90,000 euro Kickstarter goal that they hit. So we're going to have consoles, cameras, control doors, motion sensors, pistons, and I'm assuming rotors are in there too. Oh, cool. Check this guy out. The next one was the orbital flight. And the next one, they haven't hit it yet, and I hope they do, but they've only got a few days left, is modding support. And I'm hoping workshop support. What they say is at 140,000 euros, they're going to have custom textures models, a foundation for a robust modding system, which sounds like workshop support to me, and the documentation to support it. And hopefully they're better at that than Space Engineers has been, because there's like no documentation to tell you how to do anything just about. Look at the batteries on this. I love it. It's so cool. If I could show you guys my build, it looks very similar to this. It doesn't have a mining thing. It has 2 machine guns on the back, and it has a flatbed in the back and a bunch of like extra drills and cargo containers to probably like get out to the drilling site to refit whatever drilling vehicle you've got going on. Let's go ahead though and load out of this. Let's go back to main menu, and we'll be able to see some of their other stuff. So we can look at the medium-sized truck. Let's go to the huge planetary outpost. Take a look. And I took a quick look at this. One of the things they talk about, like how you can survive, choose how you're going to survive on the planet, is that you can either build an outpost like this, which is kind of cool. And let's take a closer look. Are these made out of a different sized block? They are made out of a different sized block. These are much larger. So there are large and small blocks. I was wrong. I don't know if they can attach to the same grid, though. I think I was. Let's turn on this. Is this the same sized block as what I was building with before? It's hard to tell now without having something to compare to. Oh, I think it is. Okay, no, I don't think I was right. I think everything's on the same grid size. That's interesting. Yeah, because look at that. And then here's the brick that would go with that, and it's the same size as this. Oh, cool. Okay, so they are on the same grid size. That makes a huge difference because you can't really get the details on Space Engineers building. I'm going to keep going back to that game because that is the direct comparison. You can't get the details on large ships without making them humongous. Then if you try to build them out of small blocks, the game lags all to hell. And I'll be curious to see if they're able to pull this off where you can build these large vehicles, like with the one they show in the trailer, which is a giant Jawa sandcrawler. And that was how they were saying you could choose to survive. You could build a base like this with your solar panel blocks and your solar field over there, and have your individual buildings that all do something different. Your beacon building, I guess. Interesting. Or you could build the giant sand crawler that is your mobile base and kind of go from point to point, finding the resources, the rare minerals and stuff that you need to build your spaceship and escape this planet. Pretty neat stuff. Now, so modding support, though, was their 140 euros. They were going to go for localization next, which is a little weird that that's a Kickstarter goal. Localization, you think, would just be something that they'd want to do whether or not they hit a Kickstarter goal. Sadly, though, VR support and modding support are farther down on the list, and I know that's something that you guys are going to be interested in, especially the multiplayer support. And I would love it if you guys would. If you're more interested in modding support, in multiplayer support than any other feature in this game, leave a comment, or I'll leave a comment, and leave a reply to that comment saying, hey, I love multiplayer, bring on multiplayer, because that, I think, is going to be what really makes this game awesome, is multiplayer. Building and sharing creations is one thing. Building and sharing them in person while your buddy runs the turret on the top of whatever you've just built is a totally different thing, and something that it really rocked Space Engineers. That community, when it was released, even in its buggy state, it was still totally worth it, and I've had tons of fun. And it opens up stuff like our RP series to try out in another game. So, there you go, guys. This is Planet Nomads. We're getting another game in this genre, and this one looks pretty good. There's a physics video. I'll put it in this video right now. There's a physics video that if you see it, it actually looks really good. Like, you can see the suspension moving. You can see the flight mechanics. One thing I would love to see is wings put into the game that kind of simulate lift, because that adds a lot of engineering challenge that you can do. They said they're going to have hundreds of blocks. They've already got a ton of blocks already in the game. And hopefully they're going to have lots and lots more that have lots of functions, because I'd love to see people's builds with something that's a bit more complex and stable than something compared to like Space Engineers. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. I know I might have been a little bit rough on Space Engineers in this one, but it's just nice to see a competitor to the title. I'm kind of sick of dealing with the bugs when you're building stuff and a landing gear explodes, or a rotor flies off, or the wheels decide not to spawn in when you spawn a vehicle off your blueprint section. Like, that kind of stuff is really just getting frustrating. So I might be a little negative. I still love the game, though, and I love this genre, and I want to see it continue to grow and become a more stable experience for everybody. So take that with a grain of salt. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, and you probably enjoy the content on the channel. It's all about sci-fi and modding goodness. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna load up one of these other builds. I want to see more. Back to menu. Let's see their buggy. I want to see their buggy. Oh, my buggy looks better than this. Come on. Too bad I can't log in and look at it. Oh, I love the seats, though. It's just like a glass canopy on top. Glass on small blocks. See this, Space Engineers? Glass on small blocks right here. You need this. You need it so we can build our own cockpits. Come on. And allow seats to control vehicles directly so we can actually make custom cockpits. I would add so much to the game instead of having to use the damn remote block. Ooh, wow, look at that. Does it have a cup holder? It never has a cup holder. Where am I supposed to put my coffee in this thing?